You wrote an amazing article, and it's all about what trends to look out for, the 5 main big ways that car dealerships are going to be influenced by AI in 2025. So I want to start with the AI-powered digital showrooms. You've predicted the rise of AI-powered digital showrooms. How do you think that these platforms will redefine the car buying journey, and what role will traditional dealerships play in this shift?
Oh, okay. So a couple questions inside there. So the first part of this I look at as AI is an amazing assistant, and it can do research for you. It could go get the product information on a particular vehicle. I believe salespeople will use AI at the dealership to really just help them do what they're already trying to do, which is sell a car. And I definitely know with cars being more sophisticated, more technology in them, it's harder to understand how all that works. But with AI, a salesperson could easily ask, tell me about the Chevy Tahoe's in-cabin entertainment system. And by giving back that answer to the customer, it actually will position a salesperson as an expert, which I think is great, as a product expert. So I view this kind of first wave of AI applications inside the showroom will help salespeople, again, sell cars. I also believe you'll see a little of this online. As I said around digital retailing, I think that these new AI applications, autonomous agents or bots, have a high potential capability to help customers make decisions. And what I mean by that, I believe, if I'm sitting here and I ask you for advice and you give me advice, I may go, well, Simone, you're a salesperson. I don't know if I want to take your advice. But if we ask a computer for advice, somehow we just take that advice for what it is and we just believe it. And with that being said, maybe I'm a consumer, I need help determining whether I need a Chevy Tahoe or a Chevy Suburban. And I need to be able to ask some questions. And maybe the LLM even asks me some questions like, do you have a family? How old are your children? Are they of the age that they play sports and they have more gear? If they do, you might need the 18 inches in the back of the Suburban that the Tahoe doesn't have. Do you ever see you using the third row seats? Like all these questions, to me, a bot could easily ask of a customer and give the customer the confidence to move forward, or ultimately say, that's the wrong car for me. And I think having this, what I consider non-sales approach, will absolutely help speed up car sales. And from that AI perspective, I see this as the beginning of this wave really kind of kicking in 2025.
This is something I'm particularly interested in personally. You mentioned predictive maintenance and how predictive maintenance is really going to be a game changer for dealership service departments. There is so much content out there about how the service department, other than it being in a highly competitive space, competing with not just other dealers, but independent repair shops. How do you see predictive maintenance reshaping customer expectations and loyalty in coming years? Because I understand that those are really the metrics that drive customers to the service bay.
Absolutely. So I think the first thing, predictive maintenance to me, in my opinion, is there's an old Japanese custom they called amatanishi. I think it's the right way. I'm probably hacking this up how it's actually pronounced, but it means to anticipate your guests' needs before your guests realize they have a need. And when I look at predictive maintenance, I view it as being able to look at data and go, well, Simone comes in twice per year. She usually comes in between these dates every year, it seems, consistently, and these dates. And it's because her daughter is out of school, so it's easy for her to come in and do something. Or the family goes on a trip, and they want to make sure the car is as the maintenance is done. So predicting consumers' existing behavior and extrapolating that over time allows us to look forward and anticipate, okay, this consumer most likely is going to need service here or there. Now, we do that today traditionally, mostly by the miles on the car. We know like you need to come back at your 6,000 mile or 10,000 mile for these services. But I think there's a whole other side of the consumer's actual behavior and how the consumer is interacting with the dealership. When you add these things together, this creates the true predictive power. What we're going to see like immediately, like right now, this year, dealerships are going to be able to understand their customers better through data. They're going to be able to anticipate and predict, hey, these customers will be coming in for service. They'll be able to leverage declined service repair work more efficiently. Like a good example, I was just talking to a dealer, and this was the example I gave. I said, okay, you probably have a lot of customers in your database right now over the last 90 to 180 days have turned down tire replacement or brakes. And you have a large snowstorm coming this week. If you could instantly go in, get that data, match, and then call those customers and say, hey, we have a big storm coming up, and I'm calling you as a dealer partner, your safety is our concern. And we know you didn't put tires on your car or brakes last time. This might be a good time to get it before the storm comes, if you're going to be on the road. And I'd be happy to get that phone call.
Yeah.
And I think this is where data really is going to help define us. Now, this changes as electrified cars and what we call telematics, like the cars giving off data, will actually then put data back into the dealership to say, this part's going to fail it in 1,000 miles, or this brake is at 2 millimeters. It's past the wear lines. It's going to be catastrophic failure. So I think with more and more sensors in cars and more of that data coming back into the OEM and that moving down into the dealership space, I think it's going to be really interesting. And now with autonomous driving cars, oh my gosh, I see a crazy future that the car goes, oh, it has an alert. It opens up your garage door, drives itself in the middle of the night, gets repaired, and it's back before you need to take your daughter to school. And yeah, I see this world happening, and we're seeing bits of it, like autonomous car, robo-taxi. We see it, but I think this is going to come alive. And AI to me is like the electricity that's going to power this.
As well, we're speaking about data and the dealership making the right decisions that will benefit the customer. So using the data in an honest transaction to say there is a snowstorm coming in, you didn't fix your brakes or you didn't repair your tires or anything like that. I think that is where we'll see a merging of customer expectations being met with the right use of data. And I'm not going to get too far into that because I know that's a separate conversation. We could have a 3-day seminar just on how people feel about data, where the data is going, who owns the data.
Yeah.
I saw a post today. I'm actually going to link it to you. Watch it or listen to it when you're driving later, when you're wrapping up your day. It's an awesome YouTube video I found today. And I was in the comments looking at what people were saying. And it was just access into consumer insights that you don't necessarily see verbatim in reports that we pay for, right? So there's a lot about data, but I think anybody who drives a car, who has a family, would want that call to come through.
And as you're sitting around that data piece, right now, that's not how it happens, right? Dealers just market to everyone or just send it in waves. And I've constantly said this, and I believe it wholeheartedly. When you continue to market to people who are not in market, you're training them to ignore you. You're literally helping them turn you off because they see it real quick and they're like, no. And you're training them. No. So I think we need to create better timing, and data can absolutely help us to do that and align that. You want to get that call. Like, to me, a good example, another one. So we monitor people who are visiting the website. We can de-anonymize them, meaning I know who it's you on the website. So I can see, oh, Simone is a customer of the store. Simone visited the service scheduler page. Simone did not book. Okay, 24 hours goes by. That's interesting. I would probably call someone. I'd call you and say, hey, you know, you're as a super valued customer, just want to touch base with you, see if there's anything you need. You just come up and you'd be like, wow, that's so weird. You know, I went to book an appointment and oh, my kid fell and I got distracted, or something else happened and I had to go do something. Or I started to fill out all these forms and it asked me for an op code, and I don't know, my car's making a weird clunking sound in the back and I couldn't find it. So I just quit it. That's so crazy. You called me, 48 hours later. And these are the serendipity like experiences, and we love to have them. And I think with data, it's going to help us create more of them. So high level of personalization, one-to-one experience at scale now, though.
In terms of sort of the way that things are operating at the moment, there is so much data available. Do you think that it's because we're still adjusting to how to efficiently organize the data, extract the data, deploy decision-making based on that data? Or what do you think the disconnect has been up until now in terms of, and I come from a people background. So like while you're speaking, I'm going, you know what, they're probably overwhelmed. They're probably so overwhelmed that they can't go, wait, snowstorm, wait, let's go have a look. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like what you said earlier on when we started this discussion, which is there's so many questions that you can ask and can answer in this transaction that's taking place. Can you really manage them efficiently as a human being who has their own life going on, who was maybe late for work today because their daughter was sick, et cetera, et cetera? So I'd love to understand just your perspective on what is currently happening or not happening that is not allowing us to make these things already happen as of right now.
Yeah, so the first thing I'm going to say, automotive data is siloed across multiple tools. And it's not, and it traditionally has been difficult to get it out. Or there's fees. So I have another hat that I ordered that it says free your data. I really believe this. This is like a mantra for me, because auto is one of these weird industries that has monetized data moving between systems. That really doesn't exist outside of auto. Somehow auto, they thought this was a good idea. And dealers haven't inherently owned their data. The systems own the data. So the DMSs, the CRMs, this has to change. And with this change and the dealers getting control of their data and being able to put it in one place and organize it, this begins the journey. Because for AI to ever work, you need a lot of data. And the data has to be organized in a certain way. It has to be, put in relational tables. It has to be put on a graph. It has to be vectored for some things. Like, a lot has to happen. The traditional legacy systems really aren't designed for that, because they were built 20 some years ago. Nobody was thinking like, oh, AI. Yeah, maybe it was a dream. We all watched Terminator and it's like, yeah, it's a dream. Now we're seeing these things come alive. I think since 22 with LLMs, to me, AI was birthed. That the real AI that we as individuals could interact with it, have experience. Now, I believe AI has been powering things for longer than that, but more in the background. So looking at this today, the first thing is freeing for an average dealer is getting his data in one spot. Like, if you're any focus on 25, to me, is organizing your data and putting it in the right format, cleaning it up, maybe enhancing it, and keeping it clean. Because when we look at the current systems, if I told you right now, email addresses decay at 2.5% per month. So over 30% a year. So let's think about that for a second. So your CRM data continues to decay. And so you don't want to really market out of that, because if you do, you're going to have high bounce rates. You'll get blocked, not delivered. Your actual even penetration to your customers is going to be less. A lot of times in the DMS, people don't even own those cars anymore. You're still sending a flyer to someone and says, hey, bring your Mercedes-Benz S63 in. It's like, that was 4 cars ago, and I'm still getting emails and direct mail, and direct mail costs money. So they're using these bad manifest lists, right? As you're sitting around that data piece, right now, that's not how it happens, right? Dealers just market to everyone, or just send it in waves. And I've constantly said this, and I believe it wholeheartedly. When you continue to market to people who are not in market, you're training them to ignore you. You're literally helping them turn you off because they see it real quick and they're like, no, no. And you're training them. No, 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 no. So I think we need to create better timing, and data can absolutely help us to do that and align that. You know, you want to get that call. Like, to me, a good example, another one. So we monitor people who are visiting the website. We can de-anonymize them, meaning I know who it's you on the website. So I can see, oh, Simone is a customer of the store. Simone visited the service scheduler page. Simone did not book. Okay, 24 hours goes by. That's interesting. I would probably call Simone. I'd call you and say, hey, you know, you're, as a super valued customer, just want to touch base with you, see if there's anything you need. You just come up and you'd be like, wow, that's so weird. You know, I went to book an appointment, and oh, my kid fell and I got distracted, or something else happened and I had to go do something, or I started to fill out all these forms and it asked me for an op code, and I don't know, my car's making a weird clunking sound in the back and I couldn't find it. So I just quit it. That's so crazy. You called me, you know, 48 hours later. And these are the serendipity like experiences, and we love to have them. And I think with data, it's going to help us create more of them. So high level of personalization, one-to-one experience at scale now, though. So I think with the data intelligence, we're going to unlock better experiences. And this is what auto needs the most: better consumer experiences. Because right now, consumer experience is not that great. And, you know, case in point, we could go on an OEM website today, use a digital retail tool, configure a car, get a payment, kind of mess around with it. And then we now spend a couple days doing that. And now you say, this weekend, let's go visit the store. You never submit a lead. You walk into the store. To that store, you're a complete stranger. But you've been interacting with the brand over a whole week. But to the store, you're a stranger.